This is Inside the Wolf's Den, an entrepreneurial journey with Sean and Joni Wolfswinkle.
Welcome back to Inside the Wolf's Den with your hosts, Sean and Joni Wolfswinkle. Today we have a guest with us, Violet Mileva. How are you, Violet?
I'm so happy to be here with you both.
Well, we're super excited to have you with us today. So just a quick bio on Violet. So Violet is a public speaker, cosmetic chemist, and founder of Champïone, a high-frequency skincare brand that blends ancient tree resins with modern frequency technology to help people look younger, feel radiant, and extend their lifespans with nature. Her journey began while offering beauty services to children with terminal illnesses, where she witnessed how self-worth and loving care could transform pain into light. After healing her own severe acne, Violet now speaks globally on self-worth, sacred beauty, and longevity, helping others reclaim their glow from the inside out. Violet is now on a mission to help millions glow brighter, live longer, and love themselves deeper through nature, science, and self-devotion. And she's here to share her story, her wisdom, and her practices that help people reclaim their radiance from the inside out. Super excited to have you here with us today, just being a woman in business too, and the confidence, all of it, right? And so we'll kind of get right into it. Violet, why don't you kind of share a little bit of your journey, how you got here, how it all kind of came to this?
Well, thank you. You summarized it beautifully. Well, I've always had this gift of helping people recognize their divine given beauty. I was born a child of love, and I was born in Bulgaria, where being one with nature is truly the way of life. So I was born with the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and then coming into, the modern world, I was able to incorporate, the luxuries of America and the possibilities of America with the upbringing of like these ancient, medicines for healing. And through my journey, I experienced adversity. I experienced having to heal my own wounds. And through that, I fell in love with beauty. I fell in love with helping other people feel beautiful. So on my own prom, I became a makeup artist in high school, and on my own prom, I did a girl's hair and makeup for $50 a pop. I became a young entrepreneur, and I was like, wow, I'm $500 richer on prom day. I went for the last hour of prom, and I'm like, this is what I want to do forever. And my parents are like, no, you're not going to be some little makeup artist. So anyway, that sparked my excitement for helping people feel beautiful, but not in the terms of vanity, but this satisfaction of wow, I'm feeling so beautiful, so worthy. So through that, I ended up going to Give Kids the World Foundation, like you mentioned, and I was working at the beauty parlor there for 2 years. And when I experienced these kids who had an ill fate, who don't have the luxury of, living this full life, I loved their satisfaction of just looking in the mirror and for a moment not feeling wounded, not feeling like somebody feels sorry for them or helping them, but just truly feeling like they love their reflection, they're remembering their divine beauty. And so through that is what sparked my excitement and my dedication to revolutionize the makeup industry, when I realized that the products I was putting on these kids' faces were not actually adding to their increase, but were adding to their original downfall. These kids had skin cancer and all kinds of terminal illnesses. So that's when I was like, okay, I want to work on the other side now. I want to create the cosmetics that people are putting that is the direct contact to our largest organ, the skin, which is a reflection of the health and comfort we feel inside. So of course, this is a beauty business, a beauty company, but ultimately I love to be an innovator. And I love that beauty gives me that access point to those internal woundings that people have, whether it's self-worth, self-doubt, not feeling good enough, and all of those things that cause us to age, decay, or manifest into autoimmune disorders like eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, or even acne, which is the one I experienced. And these are all linked to various emotional turmoils that stem from the inside and expressed on our skin that processes everything. So
Well, like the first thing that really comes to mind when you talk about all that, you mentioned a couple things like child of love, right? And just your positivity, you're optimistic, you can just feel your passion. I want to just kind of mention that. But as an entrepreneur, which Sean and I are entrepreneurs, a lot of people on the show, they are entrepreneurs as well. They listen to the show. And, just feeling good about yourself, right? Really, as an entrepreneur, that says a lot. If you feel good about yourself and you're happy with yourself, you're going to, thrive in the business world, right? So I think this podcast alone could help everybody, because how can you, maybe share some tips on how you are so positive, like what makes you so positive, optimistic, seeing the good in life, right? Maybe share some tips with our audience.
Absolutely. So like you mentioned, I think if we're not feeling healthy, if we're not feeling good about ourselves, we can't glow and have the love we desire to have the relationships or to make impact in the world or to be a rock star at our career or start a business, because we fundamentally don't even feel good about ourselves or don't even recognize our divine gifts. We can't even recognize them because there's some sort of discord in us. Mm-hmm. So that's why the most important thing is first, to love yourself, to see yourself as this special gift that is given, that is one of a kind, that's only yours. We all have that. So the treasure is that I believe is it's how each person utilizes the gifts. Everybody's given gifts. That's not special, but it's how we go out there and we believe in ourselves. We find our own audience. We go after it. So I would say the way that I've cultivated this way of life to be a Champïone, which is the brand's name.
Love it.
Is having the mind programming, having the body, the physical body that we're here with. And then the skin, of course, is like a direct reflection. There's a study done that our eyes perceive and make judgments of everything in our world first. That's our first sense that perceives the world. And then our spirit, our connection to a higher source, a higher power, has really transformed my relation of how I connect not only with myself, but how I connect with others and my ability to give. And that's truly what's helped me flourish and grow, is my ability to give. The positivity is it's not something that you could just fake. It has to be cultivated daily. So through the mind reprogramming, I have a book that I wrote. It's on Amazon, and it gives you a very easy protocol of how to wake up, how to really speak life into yourself, how to really look in yourself in the mirror and truly feel how much you love yourself, how much how important you are. And then after that, doing the body work, meaning living a healthy lifestyle, eating good foods, eliminating the toxins through your self-care products, through your personal hygiene products, through the foods that we eat. A lot of the parasites, there's so much clinical studies done now. There are links to people who have depression and suicidal thoughts and all kinds of various conditions. So I think we all have woundings, we all have, our parents didn't treat us quite the way we expected. We were bullied. Everybody has a bully story. I was bullied personally. We all come from not being accepted. We're all weird and different. So the more that people resonate with the victim mindset, in my opinion, the more that they'll find confirmations of the victimhood, and which will create more downfall, more depression, more not good enough. But the more that we can focus on wow, I went through all of this and it arrived me here to this point. I've overcome, I've gotten up over and over again. I've became my greatest cheerleader. I don't need other people to confirm my greatness and to validate me. So I think just being your own cheerleader, I've been bullied, and that really made such a big difference in my life. And it caused so much of my, my acne, not being accepted. And then through that bullying, it helped me actually not only be my greatest hero and fan and cheer myself on, but it helped me also cheer others on. So if I didn't have that experience, I would have never even cared to help other people. I would have just cared to be be in love with my high school sweetheart and just, be a wife. But this path that was difficult led me to this point to help inspire, uplift other people to feel great in their skin and to yeah, just be their greatest fan and live a life that they're happy with. And again, it takes daily nurturing. It's like watering flowers, like you have to wake up and speak life into yourself. So we have a high frequency wand that you do the treatment with. That's like a cellular upgrade. Not only does the high frequency wand itself impact you on a cellular level, and it is it is what makes the products that we use bioavailable, and it's the delivery mechanism, but it also you're putting an electric current through you. So that's the moment where you get to speak life into yourself and the people that use it. So that's something that's been a really big part of my journey. I eat really clean foods. I always work out. If I ever have discomfort, anger, frustration, I go running. I run my heart out like Forrest Gump. We all need to channel this frustration. I dance it off. I do this like shaking ritual exercise. So yeah, I have so many various ones, but if I would say like a good takeaway would be to use one in each one. Do a mind one, do the body one, which one is a shake ritual, which you could see on my Instagram that I do. I go for a run, like even a 10-minute sprint would literally change your state. I do a spinning exercise, which is from the Tibetan rites. That one is you spin with the earth 21 times, and that recalibrates you in a new, I call it a new paradigm, a quantum leap whenever I'm stuck in a reality that is not resonating with my highest self. So there's these little tweaks that we could do. I'm happy to go more into them if you'd like. And then the skin exercise, again, is like if people, like I'm sure you guys can relate, if there's times where you don't feel good, nothing's working out, you stub your toe in the morning, you're in a fight with your partner, you're not really caring to like get ready, and like you feel like your hair, you're not really showered, you're just like trying to get through the day. But when you really like take time to like prepare yourself, to prepare like this garden within, even if we don't feel good, like getting ready for you guys today, I feel better than I did before because I took time to prepare myself. So just little things like that that make such a big difference in our state. And then last but not least, but having this relationship with a higher power, the creator of all there is, like that's really, really important to me because, I think because of this relationship, it helps me have more compassion to others, have more forgiveness, not only for others, but for myself, be less judgmental of myself and of others, which it's actually, new studies are coming out in psychology that shows that aging is linked to the emotion of judgment. So the more we judge ourselves, the more we judge other people, you're aging. So when you think of it like that, then not only do you not want to age for the longevity of it so that you can be perceived more beautiful through your own eyes, through others, and to have just a higher spirit of where you're vibrating and oscillating at a higher potential, but also for the creator who forgives us and never judges us no matter what we do so that we can continue to blossom.
That's awesome.
I absolutely love that. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's so much really to unpack there, but for the young entrepreneurs especially, I think, they can soak a lot of this up because I 100% agree with you, Violet. Having that routine, whatever it is that works for you, right? But having that, like working on the mind, there's so many podcasts and books out there that you can get into. What's the name of your book, by the way? Because I want to make sure that we put that in the show notes because I think that is one place our audience can start.
Absolutely. So it's just called The Book of Healing, Mind, Body, Skin, Spirit, using tree medicine and bioelectric technology. And it's okay if you don't remember the title. All you have to do is you can link the website, www.championbymileva.com. And then there's a pop-up. I can make the pop-up available just with this link for your audience, and then they can download it for free right there.
Love
awesome.
that.
Yeah, thank you for that. Can we talk a little bit about, I think you got a unique journey, and I would love to hear how you started your skincare line and products, and because I think that's an interesting journey too. But just starting a business is hard enough. So can you share a little bit about how you got into, I know it started in high school, but take it one step further. How did you decide, like, okay, how am I going to be different than all the other major brands out there? They have a lot more money, a lot more marketing spend. How did you maybe take a unique approach? And I know you use unique like tree resins in your product that to bring you closer to nature, that you feel have a better, or you've shown that it has a better, it's better for your skin and better quality. But can you talk about that and how that kind of journey you took for your skincare?
Absolutely. How did I not get intimidated by my competitors that have so much more money to play with and resources and influencers and celebrity endorsements? Yes, that's a great question. So I started in 2009 is when I, as a makeup artist, I was working with the Give Kids the World Foundation. And it was there where I met this woman, and she's like, there is this program at Florida State University for product development and innovation. And there's a lab, you can use the lab. And she's like, my daughter created these clothes using pineapple skin or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And she's like, she's doing great. She's in New York. She's thriving. She's on the runway. I'm like, that's I already knew I wanted to be an innovator. I already knew I wanted to create the makeup products for those kids. That was the inspiration. I wanted to create originally a makeup product. This is 2009 to 2011. So 2011, I wanted to create a product that was a moisturizer, sun protection, anti-aging, cover-up makeup, and a skin polish that eliminates the skin cells that are already on its way out of the skin, to polish the skin all in one. So not needing multiple products, eliminate waste, eliminate the carbon footprint, eliminate the consumer's need to buy so much different SKUs. And that was the product I wanted to create, a 5-in-1, which at the time it didn't exist. Now there's BB creams, CC creams, but at the time that wasn't a thing. So I was like, okay, how am I going to make this? So then she told me about this program, and I felt like I was divinely guided to go to this university. And my high school sweetheart at the time was already going to Florida State. So that was a confirmation. Okay, you're on the path. So then I went to Florida State University. I studied human science undergrad, specialized in product development. Then I furthered my education in organic skincare formulation. And then I developed it at the university. I was able to use so much resources from the students that were case studies to prove that these products work. And we had great, viable case studies. We used over 100 people, which is an amazing case study for skincare products. I was backed by the law department, who helped me set up my LLC, and all this support that just felt so aligned that I was like, okay, I am supported. And I think a lot of the time, just to mention as an entrepreneur, it feels so good when we feel like everything's working out and we're divinely guided and all of the pieces are just showing up. But then there's going to be moments where those pieces aren't going to be there. There's not going to look like there's going to be a lot of support. Mm-hmm. Everything's falling apart, and you're doubting, am I on the right path? And that's the time where we have to have a little bit more resilience, more courage to continue forward. Mm-hmm. So because of my chairman at the time, she was like, this product, she's like, if you don't take this product out to market, when I developed it, actually, she's like, I'll take it from you. So she challenged me. She's like, I'll do it. And that was the moment I knew that I had something really special. And the way the tree resins came into the mix is the tree resins like cedar, dragon's blood, Peru balsam, frankincense, myrrh. These resins were used in my part of the world for thousands of years. They were used by ancient prophets and masters, and now they're clinically proven to diminish fine lines, eliminate purging of the skin, and so forth. But at that time, So my grandma would put resin in my ear when I would have an ear infection. I got bit by a bee and she would just like put some pine resin on my nose and it would heal like this. But like that didn't all click. You know, it clicked the moment something again confirmed. And it's called this book, which I strongly recommend every single person listening to read. It's called The Ringing Cedars of Russia. And it is a book by Vladimir Megre. And it's a book about these ancient ringing cedars. And in the taiga of Russia, so in the Siberia, these trees grow negative 70 degrees. I know this is a little nerdy, but just quickly. negative 70 degrees Celsius, these trees survive and thrive, and they experience a lot of autophagy, which creates such potent medicine. It's one of the only, so the resin, the cedar nuts that they produce have all 19 amino acids in them, which is so special, which is very hard to find in nature. And sometimes the people that live there, they can survive all winter. Just from the cedar nuts themselves. That's how much nutritional value they have. So that's the original, like once I read the book and it reminded me of these resins, I'm like, okay. And the book in itself talks about, it's a biography on this woman that lives in the forest, but it talks about the benefits of the cedars. It talks about the way of living with nature. It's a really beautiful, beautiful book. She's a recluse that lives in the forest naturally. So anyway, that was the start of it all. And then after, how did I start to take it out to market? I developed the products. There was a lot of testing. I was using the space, a lot of failed experiments. But through all of those, it took maybe, I would say, like hundreds, if not thousands of different trials like I think about, who's my mentor and inspiration at the time, like Thomas Edison, like his failed experiments, I had to be like, okay, there's times where everything would break and pour, and like there's a lot of rage that comes from that, from not figuring it out, but being so close. So after we got the formula down, taking it out to market, I started with what I knew, the local communities, through the markets, through the school markets. And then I started talking to my local community in Tallahassee, all the spas, people that used to go to Florida State that wanted to support a local entrepreneur. I spoke to like the Tallahassee newspaper and magazines to get me out there. So if you have a message to share, you'll find a way to spread the message. But I would say like the easiest thing at the time was to start in my local community. Now, I would recommend somebody who's starting as a young entrepreneur to have a mentor that can teach you about like investment and managing resources before, because I was kind of just like winging it. I was kind of just
as many of us do, right?
I would say like if that was one thing I would have done is I would have spoken to a professional of like how to manage my resources. Like I would have been like, this is the amount of money I have. Where should I invest this to grow the fastest? And at the time, I'm a first generation, so I was taught never to borrow money that wasn't mine. I probably would have, taken out a loan from my credit card company or something like this that I could have exponentially grew faster. But what I actually chose to do is build my own capital. So I started working on a cruise ship, and I worked on a cruise ship selling luxury diamonds, gemstones. I think you knew that about me. And through that, I worked there 3 years. I became a gemologist on 47th Street. I knew I needed money because I think at the time I had like $8,000 left in my bank account. And I'm like, I can't grow a business with this money. I was working, I also had an opportunity to be a student assistant for I think it was like a 60,000 salary. And I just chose no, I am doing this entrepreneurship path. And then I went on the cruise ship. I worked 3 years. I raised about 150,000. And then I decided I wanted to go to California and open up a shop. And then that's when I was applying to all these different shops, to get a shop in Beverly Hills Center, and then there was this program which was perfect at that time, 2019. They wanted to diversify the 3rd Street Promenade here in Santa Monica because there was too much big box retailers. They wanted smaller businesses to attract a different crowd. And that was still when the promenade was really popping, it was really full of, I remember counting, and there was 10 people that walked at least every 10 seconds. So from Saudi Arabia, from all over the world. And I opened up a shop, which was like truly a milestone in front of the 3rd Street Promenade Apple store. I was like, okay, okay. Little Bulgarian girl with a town of 30,000 people just made it to 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. Truly a dream come true. And then what happens? Like did that for a year, and I was experiencing great success, great outreach. Like people were discovering me. I was making great money. I was seeing the beach. And then COVID hit. So another challenge we have to overcome. So that's the journey that I was on.
This is also fascinating. I love innovation to begin with. So what you've created is outstanding, Violet. I have 2 questions for you. So first question I have is, what does your day-to-day creative process look like from when the idea hits you to execution? So that's the first question I have. And then the second question I have is, how do you stay inspired during creative slumps, right? Or when you're facing roadblocks? How do you keep going and motivate yourself to get through that?
Yeah, so from creation to execution, it starts with a lot of testing. Like, for example, I've been wanting to create a mascara that's non-toxic for so long. But if it doesn't perform in the way that would not only be beneficial to me, like I won't release it. And that's when we have to duo with like the perfectionist in me, like, okay, when it's better to take it out to market, which you'll speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, it's better to be first than to be the best. Mm-hmm. So that's the first battle. But I would say a lot of experimenting to trying to find like exactly the thing I want to create. For example, like we have a Panacea Youth Serum, which replaces 10 products in one. So I had to make sure that not only does it create an effect and an effect of the skin, it also smells good. It also feels good and feels luxurious. Like people say they don't judge a book by its cover. That's not true. Whenever I was investing more money into the formulation content itself, but the packaging was sort of mediocre. People were like not trying to get the product. Right. But now when the product looks beautiful on the outside, and that's their first thing that they said, well, the product looks beautiful, then they actually are more interested in trying the content itself. But I could have only had that if I built capital and had investment there. So first starts off with the component itself. As a cosmetic chemist, like to me, the ingredients are really, really important. If people are spending their hard-earned money on something, it's not about the pretty packaging and the sensory illusion of how good it smells or how good it looks or how great of a box it comes in. That's not my priorities. That to me, the integrity of the content itself is what makes the difference. Then after I make sure that it looks beautiful, I do testing, I ask all my friends, but I still have like the final decision. I do like surveys to make sure people are understanding what the product is. They like the packaging, they like the smell. And then after we do all of that, then I release that out to market. And the way that I release it out to market, you, of course, like we all know, making a preview, kind of like a movie theater preview. This is coming up, like be prepared. And then after that, I release a limited amount. And we do that anyway. We formulate once a full moon, and we have 500 SKUs of each of the products. And if they're sold, then you won't be able to buy it until next month, until we make that again. So it's always fresh. It's always potent. And the way that after that, I have like we can talk about scheduling because I think this is important for entrepreneurs if you'd like. But then after that, we go to more like how can the local community buy it? We go to spas. I still want to be in cruise ships. I still want to grow there. So just doing outreach and outbounding, a lot of reaching out to make sure that the product gets as many people as possible that can get the medicine. I mean, all I hope is like, you do this with a intention of like, hey, I'm creating this medicine and I hope it gets into the right hands of the people that can benefit from it the most. So that's the execution. And then of course, marketing, like I have a marketing team now who, gets it out to as many people as possible through all the channels and the social media platforms. And TikTok is really, really such a great sales channel for us lately. And then your other question Remind me what the second question was.
So the second part of that question is how do you stay inspired, you know, during like creative slumps or when you're facing maybe a roadblock?
Yeah, I would say when I'm facing a roadblock, nature's like my greatest inspiration. You know, a lot of the times, I know it seems so basic, but it truly is the best medicine, because there's a lot of noise that gets into all of our minds. And when we're young, you know, we can hear that guiding voice of intuition a lot clearly. And it's actually proven that women have such a much greater level of intuition, a greater level of communication with their intuition and connection. But either way, I have to be able to listen to that guiding voice. And when I don't hear it loudly and I feel blocked, I feel uninspired, I feel potentially hurt from, like, maybe because I'm in a relationship and I'm getting emotionally influenced, things aren't working maybe, and I'm feeling discouraged. Maybe I'm weak this month and I'm overworked or burnt out and the inspiration isn't coming, right? So what I would do is I would go into nature with no technology, no EMF radiation from Wi-Fi that is distracting and taking me off of the frequency that's connected with the creator. And I start asking questions. I start asking myself questions and I listen to the guidance. And if that's like, and I sit there until I hear some guidance, and I have to be patient. Patience, I would say, is something I need to work on. I sit there and I listen. If I don't, and then another thing I do is I do a bath meditation as well. So I go into the bath, think about it. We all come in a beautiful bag of water. So I pretend like I am in an embryo in water, and I sit there and I allow my mind to clear from the noise, from the disappointments, the not good enoughs, the distractions. And I put some high vibrational, like binaural beat music that aligns me. That's not words. I put binaural beats to kind of put my mind in sync with the harmony of the universe. And then I sit there and I go through like what's troublesome to me, what my challenges are, and I see it. I kind of sit for ideas. That would be nature's my greatest teacher. And then obviously connecting through meditation, through prayer is the way that I get out of those emotional roadblocks. And if I'm completely stuck and stumped, again, I do my body. I change my body state. So I go for a run where I feel like I can accomplish something. Like small little wins, I'm sure you guys know, like makes me feel like I'm better than I was before. So if I feel like everything's not working out and I'm failing, I just do a run. And I've already like accomplished one thing. Okay, I can feel good about myself for this one thing. And then I go back into that state and see if it changes. And if it doesn't, you go again tomorrow, right? Like a lot of the times we get so like caught up in like, nothing's coming. If it doesn't come, you did all the things. As long as you know you did X, Y, and Z to try to figure it out, you try again the same technique tomorrow, because every day gives us new insight.
That's awesome. Actually, some of the best ideas actually do come from taking a bath. And I will say, I take one every night, and sometimes I'll get out of the bathtub. I'm like, Sean, I have a really good idea. He's like, what now? I'm like, it's serious. It's a great idea.
So take a bath every night. Yeah, that's the takeaway. Hey, going back to women's intuition and in researching you and your social media, you got a great following and social media brand, but I noticed that you also have helped, and if I'm saying this all wrong, please correct me. But
he's gonna go for
I'm gonna take us on a why.
Yeah.
But so you have helped men by being a wing woman, and I've only seen it reminds me of the movie with Will Smith when he was a wingman I forgot the actor's name, but it was a funny movie. But is that how did you even get into that? And then can you explain what that all goes into that? Because I've never met somebody and that
now you got everybody's attention.
That's how'd you get into that? Like, what does it all entail? And then tell us more about it, because I've never seen a professional that helps people like that in real life. Just the movies.
Just in the movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's still very related. Like I love helping people discover their maximum potential through Champïone, my skincare brand. But it includes like also we have a self-esteem academy there, which helps people recognize their potential. Through the devotion of love, I help high achievers like recognize their power and align themselves with the love that's meant for them. Because a lot of times high achievers they're busy, they're, out creating impact for thousands of people, hundreds of people. So they're probably putting their love life on the back burner. And then they're also they're not dating as much and they don't have time to date. They're not like engaging with people in that same sense. So it's like we just remind how to have an open heart when we're using right brain all the time of decision making and all of this. But the way that came about is because I am a woman, I'm an entrepreneur, and I wanted to devote myself to love. So this is a love letter to the universe, because I'm very again, I've always had the gift to help people see the divine given beauty and the gifts. So through the Wing Woman program, that's what happens. So people are blocked for whatever reason. They have a blockage that helps them not believe that they deserve. They are good enough to receive love. They have shame. They've given up. And we remove those blocks. We clear the path. We realign again with the mind reprogramming. We take care of the somatic body. And then after, we do field work, magnetic field work, where somebody is actually supporting you and your journey of love. Because a lot of the time we feel so alone on this journey. And if you have somebody that believes in you, that supports you, that can be like your mirror of someone who actually wants the best for you, right? That can be your mirror to having that connection, especially with like the opposite sex, then we can have the love of our dreams. And it happened because I was so busy creating a brand. And a lot of the time that my love life was, put on the, I wouldn't say like it was really hard to balance both of those. So my experience stems from the fact that I was able to have such beautiful experiences in terms of dating, in terms of love and being super supported. But I had to learn what I needed from love and how I needed to be supported and how to support my partner. So when we have like the Wing Woman program, and particularly for men, I give you a clear blueprint of like what women like. And also women are grateful because they get to share, like, this is exactly what men want to understand about being pursued and being chosen and being cherished. And it's just a beautiful reminder, whether you're just starting to date someone and want to find the love of your dreams, or whether you've been in a relationship for 10 years and you've forgotten how to court and how to cherish. And these are just all beautiful reminders that any person can benefit from. And not in a way where it's strategic or manipulative or like some sort of scripts. It has all to do with understanding and feeling your heart and operating from this space, which is very different than when you're creating a business. When you're creating a business, it does take love, it does take devotion, but it also takes a lot of right brain thinking, like strategy and analytics and execution. So when somebody is a high achiever like that, of course, a Wing Woman is the way to do it. And it's a devotion to finding and experiencing the greatest love on this planet. And something crazy I do, I've done this for so long, which I'm going to share with you guys. Nobody knows this about me. It's very personal, okay? Whenever I'm unmotivated or, want to feel love, that's super exceptional, revolutionary love, legendary love, to get inspired, I put on wedding vows, okay? So I put on wedding vows, like I'm making food, I'm making my eggs. I put on wedding vows because it's the one way that I get to experience verbally the feeling of love, So the way that, and then through that, I can emanate that feeling of love throughout my day. So that's a little secret. That's something that I do that's like,
wow,
my indulgence, because I get to experience love through all these people. Like, no love is greater than another love. Like, you two have this unique, beautiful love that that you share something so special. And then the couple here and my best friend who experiences love, and like, when we get to hear these experiences, then we get to understand this universal love, which is like the all creator love. And that's why we all have a partner. And through the story of like, Eve is made from the rib of Adam, it's just so beautiful because we all here to be witnessed. And that's exactly what happens in the Wing Woman program, is when I get to experience this love through, the wedding vows and all of that. But to remind the love through the Wing Woman program, to inspire the love to be shared. And it's not silly, or it's not, like small to want that is the greatest gift of why we do everything. Of course, to have impact is a devotion of love, but to share love and to procreate fruitfully is also the greatest gift that's written in ancient scripture. So it's a devotion to that love, and I get to experience it.
Yeah, it's a unique approach. I've never heard somebody like playing wedding vows.
Yeah, I love everything you said today. Was man, like I'm already feeling. Yeah, it's a unique perspective, but I'm feeling good about myself right now. Like, as you know, Violet, Sean and I are in the property management industry, and it can be, we were talking about how negative it can be, right? And so I'm already feeling positive coming into this podcast. So I appreciate you. And I have just 2 questions, and Sean can ask a question if you like also, but selfish questions here. So Violet, I'm going to ask you, like, what do you see, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like, what's Violet's next?
Yes, thank you. So in the next 5 years, I see myself impacting 4 million people, healing completely from skin challenges that is impacting people's self-worth, self-esteem. Whether I have to do it one by one or I could do it by the thousands, thankfully I'm here on this podcast. It's going to impact hundreds of thousands of people, right? And through that, helping those people heal, that's the greatest gift, inspiration, when I get those messages of like, not only do I love my reflection and I don't have this struggle anymore, but I also have fallen deeper in love with myself. Greatest feeling. And then I realized, even if I just I don't need to impact all of these people only, I can impact one person, which is my love. And I would love to have a family and buy land, considering you guys, buy land, and not only have a lab in the industrial parts of this town, but have a lab space on my land. I get to take people, they can come, they can create and learn how to be one with nature, create retreats there. Have Champïone, the skincare company, be on all cruise ships, because that's where people go with abundance to spend, and instead of buying things that are instant gratification that don't actually impact the longevity of the human lifespan, they can have these products that not only impact their skin but impact their longevity overall. So being on the cruise ships, because I love cruising too, that's all the utmost. And then also helping men find the love of their dreams. I aspire to have at least 40 more men in this year alone. So in the next 5 years, I would love to continue growing the Wing Woman program. It's truly the biggest devotion I can make to love, and the more people that can fall in love through me. I've helped over 9 people now. We're working on the 10th one. 9 of them, 2 of them are engaged to be married, which I'm so grateful for. And through experiencing their love, I fill up my own love bank, so it's just a complete, synchronicity. And those are my only things. And my other thing is I'm innovating a vaporizer for those people that have those oral fixations, that are vaping, that are, smoking, and all of this. So again, as an innovator, as a chemist, I love to innovate. And this is something I've been working on for so long, which I'm just going to share quickly about. It's again using those resins, but it's using those resins to give you the sensation that you're smoking something, but that's non-toxic, that doesn't hurt your lungs and makes you feel good and improved and enhanced. So those are the projects that I'm working on that in the next 5 years will completely, be exponentially grown. And I can just be every day, you know, waking up with my family and still creating impact in that way.
That's awesome.
What's one piece of advice you'd give somebody that's just starting out?
Just starting out as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, just an entrepreneur.
I would say that the tree's roots are what bind us in the core after all, meaning we're all connected. And if you don't know exactly, like, do they already know what they want to do or not yet?
Some are exploring. Exploring.
I think, so a lot of people that listen to this show, it's real estate related, but we've had numerous entrepreneurs like yourself in different industries, but so I think they have an idea of what they want to hit, and maybe they're scared to, you know, they have a job right now, it's comfortable, or they're scared to take that step into entrepreneurism, and so like I think they have an idea, but they're scared to make that next move.
Okay, so they're scared to make the next move. So I would say that, first of all, believe in yourself. If there's something that I could tell myself 10 years ago, is that you're going to go far beyond what you could ever imagine. And you need to dream bigger, because I'm not even dreaming big enough yet. And so like I would invite them to have a clear vision on the direction they're headed, to fully believe in like their why, so that they know, okay, like, do I want to have 10 properties by the end of this year acquired, and like I'm flipping, or I'm not sure what they're doing, and have a clear vision on what that is. Maybe draw it out on a board, like you're an elementary school kid, and put all the houses and like put the vision so you can visually see it. Remember, the sense is is one of the visions. The eyesight is the first vision that makes us believe something or judge something or see it into fruition. So having it on a board and seeing all of the different properties that they're going to do, where they're going to be, their lifestyle, so that they can wake up every day and like be in there, be the champion before you get there. That would be step one. And feel embody that, like wake up every day, like, everything's working out for me. Why are all my needs met? You know, like waking up in that state, asking yourself questions, because we come from this universe where the more we ask the right questions, the more we'll get the answers that we need. So like if you're going through a struggle, if you're not figuring out how to solve a problem, that would be step 2. Ask yourself the right questions. And then step 3, have the resilience to continue going forward to that vision that you set yourself in the beginning without giving up, and having people around you that you know you can count on to not give up, to not give up on the vision whenever you are feeling really low, whenever you are feeling doubting of yourself. And then step 4 would be having a really great relationship with the creator, that you're always grateful, because you can't have more if you're not grateful for your family, your wife, your husband, the accomplishments you've had, the ways you're supported. Even if you don't feel that supported, like find something that you could be grateful for truly in your heart, and then that gratitude magnifies and it allows you to have even more. And again, I know this sounds really basic, but it truly is what has exponentially like 10x me, is like having true gratitude, writing every day consistently, like what I'm grateful for. At night, what are my small wins, so that I can see myself as someone that I'm growing, and not somebody that's not doing enough. Because of course I can think about all the ways I'm not, but what I could be doing more, and how I wish I had more time in the day, and who I didn't read. No, focus on all of the ways you're doing it, and have like a clear time blocking. I would say too is something that's really big, is like time blocking in the day, so I don't have to think about every morning that I wake up what I have to do. So like my best friend is like I have a Google Calendar, but also I'm old fashioned. I like to write everything out. I have a timestamp, time by time, that I either write the night before or I write on Sundays for the week ahead, so that I'm clearly like understanding what I have to do without having to think about like, what am I going to do today to 10x my life. I already have strategically like planned it out one day, and then I just follow it along like I'm a student.
I love that. Awesome. Well, this is a value-packed episode. I think there's a lot in here that you spoke about today. Violet, how can our listeners get a hold of you?
Yes. So, Joni, Sean, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to talk with you and for all your questions. If you want to get the book, go to www.championebymileva.com. It will be linked on this podcast. Also, add me on Instagram. I do daily inspiration, like the research on longevity, biohacking, at Champïone, which is champion with an E at the end, by Mileva, Mileva. And then, follow us on TikTok. That's also really great. And our website.
Awesome. Well, selfishly, I'll be looking for you after this show, which I'm sure all of our listeners will as well. And kind of side note, so my daughter is all about beauty. Like she's 11 years old, but she probably has seen your TikTok videos at some point because this girl knows more about beauty products than I do. I'm like, I learned something from her. So, but selfishly, we will be looking for you after the show. So
Thank
again,
you so much, man.
Yeah. So again, Violet, thanks so much for joining us today. And you want to?
We appreciate it. Anything we ever do for you, please let us know. But this will drop in a couple weeks. But in the meantime, thank you for listening. And if you liked it, if you know somebody that can get some benefit out of this, please share it with them. So thank you again, Violet. And we'll hopefully see you sometime in California when we drop by.
Yeah. And keep innovating.
I can't wait. I can't wait. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Stay blessed, and thanks for having me. See you soon.
See ya.
You've been listening to Inside the Wolf's Den, an entrepreneurial journey with Sean and Joni Wolfswinkel. Tons of entrepreneurial podcasts are out there. Talking. But Joni and Sean are living it every single day. Their portfolio now includes many franchises and medium-sized businesses. We talk about the trials and motivators of successfully running a business. Join us again soon for another podcast. But until then, reach out on the website at InsideTheWolf'sDen.com, on Facebook at Inside the Wolf's Den, on Instagram at Inside the Wolf Den. We'll see you again soon. This is Inside the Wolf's Den. We'll see you next time.